Well, ladies and gentlemen, there is a team in the NFC that is favored to win the Super Bowl that is not the Philadelphia Eagles. It is your Dallas Cowboys, per ESPN's Power Football Index. Now, I'm going to talk about where they're getting these numbers from. Is there a legitimate argument for this? What are my personal thoughts? We're going to dive into that. But before we begin, if you can like this video, that'd be greatly appreciated. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that notification bell. And if you wish to support the channel on a further note, hit the join button, become a channel member, and support the channel on a monthly basis. So let's first start off with what in the hell is going on at ESPN. Well, according to their Football Power Index, the Dallas Cowboys are not only favored in the NFC to make it to the Super Bowl with a 48.6% chance, they have a 29.3% chance of winning the Super Bowl, and to go even further than that, they have a 63.6% chance at making it to the NFC Championship game, which I think a lot of Cowboy fans are trying to get to in terms of a goal for this team. Now, how exactly are they deriving this? Well, I took a look at the description for the Football Power Index for ESPN, and this is what it says. The Football Power Index is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below average a team is. Projected results are based on 10,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI, results to date, and the remaining schedule, ratings, and projections updated daily. So what goes on here basically is that they are taking the strength of how the Cowboys are doing against these other teams, and they're putting it into simulations, and they're running 10,000 of them to come out with certain results. And based off of their results, 29.3% of them had the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl. Now, I do not believe the Cowboys are winning the Super Bowl this year. I still firmly believe that. Do I want them to win? Yeah, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and be like that. But I do think that this is not Dallas's year. I just don't. It's lining up to be, right, with certain things. And this is where I will begin with where I think the projection's going off of. Number one, San Francisco just lost Jimmy Garoppolo for the season. They have Brock Purdy. We don't know what San Francisco is going to look like with Brock Purdy under center. And usually with rookie quarterbacks don't make the Super Bowl. That's been a trend for as long as it's been. The closest that we've gotten to a rookie quarterback getting to the Super Bowl was, I believe, Joe Flacco back in 2008 with the Ravens when they reached the AFC Championship game. You know, we understand that with Dak Prescott, we lost in the divisional round. But that's something to factor into this, is that San Francisco, in my opinion, was my favorite to come out of the NFC. And now, with Jimmy Garoppolo's injury, I doubt they're going to come out now. So that leaves realistically two other teams. Really three, if we're going to be completely fair. Dallas, Philadelphia, and Minnesota. When you look at Minnesota, what happened this year? Their two losses came from the two teams in Dallas and Philadelphia. So that kind of furthers the point of really there's two big favorites in the conference. That's Dallas and Philadelphia. I believe now one of these two teams will represent the NFC this year. I would be shocked if neither of these teams came out of the conference. I honestly would. I don't believe that Dallas is coming out of the conference because of the fact of the road they might have to go through. But again, if these two teams face off in the divisional round, I think that's the real NFC Championship game right there. Let's just keep it a buck. Dallas has to get past Tampa Bay, which they have not been looking so great, but of recent they've been winning games. So I'm like, I don't know, man. I think that, if Tampa Bay's playing good football at the right time, they could have an upset, and I wouldn't be shocked if they upset Dallas in the wild card round. But you got to think about it this way. The way Dallas is trending, and things will change, and I think a lot of Eagles fans were upset with this, understandably so, because, hey, our team's 11-1. We've been kicking ass. I don't understand why we're not favorites to go all the way. And I think the problem is that with Dallas, The route they have to go based off of the Jimmy Garoppolo injury would mean that the Cowboys, if they beat Tampa Bay, odds are that 6th seed, which by the way, a 6th seed has won every single matchup versus a 3 seed since 2016. So that's another factor to keep in. So the idea is, okay, whoever's the 6th seed will knock off that NFC West title champion, whoever it's going to be, whether it's Seattle, whether it's the 49ers, whoever. And you're going to have Dallas go on the road to Minnesota, assuming Minnesota wins that game, most likely, versus the 7th seed. And then you're going to have Philadelphia play the 6th seed. Philadelphia will most likely beat the crap out of that 6th seed. And I think that Dallas in a rematch versus Minnesota will beat Minnesota again. I think that they have a really damn good matchup problem there. And then you now have Philadelphia and Dallas in the NFC Championship game. And if you go off of that, they're projecting Dallas to be the better team as of right now, which I can understand. I can understand the argument there. However, I think that with Philadelphia, they definitely did a good job of dismantling Tennessee, and that's going to be something to factor in. But I want to remind Cowboys fans and Eagles fans this as well. The December 24th game will ultimately decide how this is going to play out. I think that's what a lot of people are missing, is that Dallas will have a inflated number because of the teams they're going to play. Like, they'll play the Texans, they'll play Jacksonville. They might win those games. Odds are they will. Philadelphia will most likely win their matchups versus the Giants, and I believe they play the Bears. Then they play us. So, and then whoever wins that game, I think a lot of people are going to be looking at that and be like, oh, whoa, like, what's going on here? Because this NFC East has not yet been decided, folks. Like, this is not like other divisions, like with the NFC South. You know that Tampa Bay is going to come out of that. Or Minnesota, like, you know that NFC North, they're going to come out of it. They just got to win one more game and they clinch the division. Like, this could go down to the very end, especially if Philadelphia drops a game. Dallas is in control of their destiny. So who knows? I mean, I honestly do not know how things are going to play out, but I would say this to every Cowboys fan, Eagles fan, whatever the case may be. The last 3 weeks of the season will be our determining factor for how we view the Cowboys, and I think that's going to be really how I look at it. Like, if I'm looking at this with a clear lens, no, Kool-Aid, anything like that, which I'm not drinking right now. If Dallas beats Philadelphia, Tennessee, or Washington, or they beat all three, I would be hard-pressed to believe that the Cowboys would be a one-and-done team, especially as a wild card. Dallas is on a roll. If they continue to get on a roll and they can prove they beat, like, if they lose to Philadelphia and they lose to Tennessee, right, for example, I think a lot of us would be taken back and be like, yeah, the Cowboys are going to be a one-and-done team, or they'll win a playoff game and they'll lose. Like, there will be that pullback. But if Dallas keeps winning games, and they're doing it at a level to where they're beating the shit out of teams and they're doing it in the second half when it matters, who isn't to say that Dallas doesn't have a chance to go all the way this year? They are a contender this year. Dallas and Philadelphia are the two top teams in the NFC. I think that Philly's the best team in the conference right now because of the fact they have no weaknesses on that team right now. But Dallas is right behind them. And Dallas can beat Philadelphia. I think you got to factor in, too, the week matchup that they had, or what was it, week 6, that matchup they had, where on Sunday Night Football, Dallas really held in there with Cooper Rush, and they nearly won that game. Right? And I get it. That happened a long time ago. That's a different Cowboys team. But that's also what's factoring into this Power Football Index, is this is a different Cowboys team than what Cooper Rush was under center for. And at the first game of the year for Dak Prescott and company. So I would say to everybody, let's take it a week at a time. And I think that these projections will change. I think as we stand right now, here are my personal contenders. In no particular order, by the way. In the AFC, I think it's Kansas City, Buffalo, the Bengals, and the Dolphins. Those are my contenders in the AFC. That doesn't mean that any of these are going to be, like, if none of them comes out, like, oh, well, I'm shocked. It's just, those are the teams I think have a legitimate shot. As for the NFC, I think the 3 teams with a legitimate shot are Philadelphia, Dallas, Minnesota. Not in any particular order once again, but those are the three teams that I think have a shot. However, the dark horse is going to be San Francisco. If San Francisco can continue to play well under Brock Purdy and they don't skip a beat and prove that they don't need a quarterback to really have this machine continue to run, I think a lot of people have different thoughts when it comes to who to pick coming out of the NFC. Or who wins in the NFC more specifically, not like coming out of the conference. So that's where I stand with that, guys. I understand that there will be a lot of disagreement because I'm not really super high on Dallas right now, but it's just because trends are a real thing. They've not beaten Tom Brady in a playoff game, which could change this year. Or even that, they haven't really beaten anybody like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers. So the trend is there, but Dallas has been beating some trends here. They're about to go back-to-back to the postseason, first time in a decade. They are one win away from having back-to-back double-digit win seasons from 95, 96. They are beating a lot of trends. They just beat the freaking curse of the red stripe helmet that we think we had. Who knows, guys? Who knows? So I'm going to leave you guys with that. By all means, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment how you feel. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys? Have a good one.